Hello, my internet denizens. Yes, it's another edition of a former network executive reaction. As you've noticed, if you've watched my previous videos, that I don't hate everything about Hollywood, and I've tried to explain to you that my job when I was an executive in charge of production, well, it was to make my bosses believe that the production company was doing as they demanded, and to make the production company think I was 100% supporting them. Basically, I was a filthy liar that tried to keep everyone happy, just long enough for the production to be done and aired. I got to keep my job only if the show was successful, not because it was good. With that housekeeping out of the way, let's get into the meat of this episode, the premise of which is that Hollywood millennials hate the William Shatner version of Captain Kirk. And I would add Luke Skywalker also. Well, not the William Shatner version of Luke Skywalker. I worded that wrong. Anyway, you know what I mean. Yes, things sure are different. The movies are different, and the scripts are different from before. I'm using the word different instead of worse. There are a shit ton of vein-popping YouTube videos on the state of creative content already. Curiously, mostly about movies and streaming services. Nothing about network TV. After I did my TV guide show, it was amazing to see and read just how irrelevant network TV is to most of you. Can one be an anime nut and be a fan of sitcoms at the same time? I don't know. Something for another show. The consensus on YouTube, at least, is that most stuff out there is crap, and getting crappier as your favorite properties are being morphed into unrecognizable experiences. I'm saying things are different rather than worse, because worse can be fixed. Different is here to stay. We might alter the flow by voting with our wallets, though it seems the studios prefer to weather the woke failures rather than address the root cause, which is the influence of millennial producers and writers. Of course, this is a broad generalization. And apologies to those of you who are not like your diversity, inclusion, equity obsessed weenie roasters. But I've never met a group less interested in the history, if not of just filmmaking, but history of anything. It's like there's a very clear demarcation line. Nothing before 1980 matters. Not China's great leap forward, Cromwell's war with King Charles I, nor the disappearance of Napoleon's penis. None of these things are of interest to millennials. Maybe there's a secret cabal of passionate young filmmakers who are poised to oust this collection of pronoun pedophiles. I certainly hope so. I have this hypothesis that this generation of writers, well, they know nothing about subtext and are just plain fucking lazy. Representation is everything. Gender swap a character? Done. Gay characters sloppy kissing each other? Done. Weepy straight men? Done. Strong women who dress like men? Done. That, my friends, represents the complete, groundbreaking creative toolkit of writers these days. And here is where my thesis comes in, based on the notion that Hollywood's millennials consciously or unconsciously absolutely hate the William Shatner version of Captain Kirk, or at least the idea. He is the beacon of their ire. He represents everything they want to change. You can see it in the way they write male characters now, and look no further than the J.J. Abrams Chris Pine version of Kirk, filled with self-doubt. I don't blame Pine, it's the writing. And of course, they just had to do the parallel universe thing so they could give us a weepy Spock also. Millennials don't like the fact that Shatner's Kirk was a leader, obnoxious, and a full-on ladies' man who would jump any alien with a vagina, no matter where that vagina was. Oh, they hated that. They hated that he treated everyone on the crew equally. They hated that there was a bromance between Spock, Kirk, and McCoy, and none of them had any extra things going on, as far as I could tell. For sure, they hated Shatner's performance. Melodramatic, hammy at times, but totally alpha male. All you have to do is witness the neutered penguins they have as men on Star Trek Discovery to realize just how much they hated Shatner's Kirk. I would also extend that hatred to Luke Skywalker. Someone decided that the Rey character had to be the most powerful person in the movie, which is why they had to sequester Luke as a weepy old man masturbating on a rock outcropping. Speaking of lightsaber. But no, can't have a man outshining the Force's female femme fatale Rey. I'm not going to dissect The Force Awakens because it has already been beaten to death, but no one can disagree with just how bad the script was on that movie. And the worst part is, as I wrote earlier, the gender and race swapping represents the limits of this gang's bag of tricks. And they are so proud of themselves. You can feel it in the plot lines dripping with socially righteous arrogance. There was a time when characters fulfilled the need of the story, and aspects of their character would inform their performances. As an audience, you enjoyed the textures presented by not knowing the full story of the character. Not anymore. We have to know everything about them. Their sexual preferences, their deep-seated fears. No one knows how to write just a story and have everyone shut up about that other stuff. Many thousands of years ago, Hollywood scriptwriters were required to write the first draft of a script in subtext and then add the dialogue later. Graham Greene, back in the 40s and 50s, discussed the process. So here is this guy with many brilliant best-selling books, and he wasn't allowed to just write a script and get it shot. No, he was required to learn the process. Greene was an accomplished novelist who had to first learn how to write screenplays. He didn't just go to a 3-day Robert McKee seminar and then, bang, get a job writing for Rings of Power. If you can dig up Our Man in Havana, Ministry of Fear, Brighton Rock, The Third Man, damn, even the titles were better back then. Greene also did not write any time travel movies. Before I sign off, many of you might be wondering what writing subtext means. I still use this technique. You could write a scene description along the lines of, Nancy waited for Bill to come home. She had discovered Bill was fooling around on her, and each minute that passed, Nancy's rage would grow. Bill enters in a good mood. So that's the subtext of the scene. But the dialogue might look like this. Bill enters. Is dinner ready? Nancy replies, make it yourself. Do you see what I mean? I encapsulated Nancy's entire rage into one tiny line. Yes, I could have written, you lousy cheating scum, but where would the fun in that be? It's more work to write it that way, but it helps me as the writer. And if an actor asks what their motivation was, then I can show them the subtext notes. I don't see a lot of writing brimming with subtext or scenes with space. Sometimes the thing a character doesn't say is more important than what they do say. What do you think? Am I right or wrong? Looking forward to your respectful comments. Till next time, denizens, be seeing you.